After discovering he has terminal cancer, an ordinary 58-year-old man named Inuyashiki becomes the greatest superhero humanity has ever seen. He recently moved with his family to a new house in Tokyo, hoping for a fresh start. Despite all his efforts to make life comfortable for his wife and two children, nobody seems to appreciate him. They treat him like he's invisible. Inuyashiki's daily routine is depressingly ordinary. Every day, he squeezes into the crowded subway to get to work, where his bosses humiliate him and treat him like a replaceable cog in the machine. One evening on his way home, he witnesses a robbery but chooses to walk away instead of helping. Unfortunately, his daughter Mari spots him in that moment of cowardice, further cementing her low opinion of her father. Sitting outside his house later, lost in thought, Inuyashiki is approached by a stray dog that wanders through his gate. The dog has a note attached to its collar explaining that her name is Hanako and asking whoever finds her to take care of her. Just as Inuyashiki begins to feel a connection with the animal, his wife appears and immediately orders him to get rid of it. The next morning brings even worse news. During a doctor's visit, Inuyashiki learns he has terminal cancer that has spread throughout his body. The doctor gives him only 3 months to live. Devastated, he tries calling his family, but no one picks up despite seeing his calls. At dinner that night, he attempts to share the crushing diagnosis, but everyone ignores him, too busy complaining about their own problems. His wife spots Hanako and demands Inuyashiki remove the dog from their home immediately. With a heavy heart, Inuyashiki takes Hanako far from home and tries to abandon her, running away so she won't follow. But the loyal dog tracks him down to a park. Feeling guilty, Inuyashiki apologizes to Hanako for trying to leave her behind. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light engulfs them both. Inuyashiki glimpses strange creatures before everything goes black. When he wakes up the next morning, Inuyashiki realizes he can see perfectly without his glasses. Hanako is still waiting loyally beside him, so he decides to bring her back home. During breakfast, he eats miso soup but feels strangely thirsty afterward. When he drinks water at the sink, smoke mysteriously begins pouring from his hands. In the privacy of his bedroom, Inuyashiki discovers something terrifying. His arm transforms into a weapon, and his face can detach to reveal a mechanical core underneath. Looking in the mirror, he's horrified by his appearance. His arms turn into weapons involuntarily, and he no longer has control over his body. Hanako starts barking in fear, alerting his wife who approaches the bedroom. Just seconds before she opens the door, Inuyashiki's body miraculously returns to normal. Meanwhile, a boy named Hiro who attends the same school as Mari has discovered similar abilities. He visits his friend Chako, who recently missed school due to bullying. On Chako's balcony, Hiro demonstrates his power by pointing at a bird in flight and shooting it down with his finger, causing the bird to explode midair. Chako is shocked. Hiro takes him to the garage and uses his powers to cause accidents between parked cars. Then, he takes off his shirt to show Chako that his entire body can transform into a weapon. Hiro proudly calls himself a superhero and believes he's no longer human. Back to Inuyashiki, who still hasn't fully grasped his new abilities. He fears he might be hallucinating or has become some kind of monster. Adding to his troubles, he gets fired from his job that day, leaving him with no way to pay the mortgage. His greatest fear, being unable to provide for his family, has come true. On his way home, Inuyashiki spots an injured pigeon on the ground. When he picks it up, he can somehow see exactly what's wrong with it. Even more surprisingly, after holding the bird for a few seconds, it heals completely and flies away. In that moment, Inuyashiki discovers he has healing powers. Suddenly, he hears a woman's voice begging a doctor to save her 10-year-old son's life. Though the voice comes from a nearby hospital, Inuyashiki can hear it clearly from far away. He follows the sound and finds a room with an unconscious boy named Kanta connected to life support machines. Inuyashiki's internal system identifies the cause of the illness, and he places his hands on the boy's face, attempting to heal him. The healing works. Moments later, Kanta opens his eyes. When his mother enters the room, she's initially frightened to find a stranger with her son. She calls for the doctor, but her fear quickly turns to joy when she sees her son, who was in a coma just minutes ago, sitting up and calling out to her. As everyone marvels at the miracle, Inuyashiki quietly slips away. Walking home, he realizes he can't remember the last time he felt so happy. The next day, Chako decides to go back to school despite his fear of bullies. As soon as he walks into the classroom, Tekken, one of the delinquents who had been threatening him, approaches with the usual intimidation. Suddenly, Hiro steps in, and when Tekken grabs his shirt aggressively, Hiro grips the bully's arm so tightly it nearly crushes his bones. He forces Tekken to apologize to Chako and demands he return the money he stole. When Tekken claims he doesn't have all the money with him, Hiro threatens to kill him. Chako quickly intervenes. Despite hating Tekken, he doesn't want his best friend to become a murderer. After leaving the classroom, Hiro is followed by a girl named Cheyenne. Gathering her courage, she confesses her feelings for him. Hiro is genuinely touched and thanks her for being honest about her feelings. Later that day, Hiro calls his mother and she asks him to visit his father for dinner, explaining that the man is sick and wants to see his son. Though Hiro resents his father for abandoning him and his mother to start another family, he reluctantly agrees to go. When Hiro arrives at his father's house, the man simply hands him money for that month's alimony before inviting him inside. During dinner, Hiro is warmly welcomed by his stepmother and two half-brothers. He actually likes them, but he can't bring himself to forgive his father. While everyone enjoys dessert, Hiro feels a sudden urge to kill his father but stops himself when he realizes his young brothers don't understand what's happening and think he's just joking around. A few hours later, walking home, Hiro is consumed by hatred and rage. He randomly enters a house in the neighborhood and finds a family in the living room. Without hesitation, he shoots the father in the chest, then kills the mother. Meanwhile, Inuyashiki, who had been healing children at a hospital, hears a girl's desperate screams and rushes to help. When he arrives at the house, he finds the young woman dead on the floor with a bullet wound to her head. He tries to revive her, but discovers his powers can't bring people back from the dead. As he enters the living room, he finds the parents' bodies and sees Hiro standing over them. Not wanting to leave witnesses, Hiro shoots Inuyashiki, sending him flying. After eliminating everyone who witnessed the massacre, Hiro flies away. Sometime later, Inuyashiki recovers and searches for the killer, but it's too late. Hiro has vanished without a trace. The news is filled with reports about the brutal attack in Chofu City that wiped out an entire family. When Chako next meets Hiro, he directly asks if he is responsible for killing that family. Hiro admits it calmly, declaring that he's no longer human but a god. He promises to continue protecting Chako despite everything. Hearing this, Chako is terrified and deeply disappointed. He asks Hiro never to contact him again. When Hiro returns home, his mother tells him that next month he'll need to move in with his father. When he asks why, she reveals the devastating news that she has cancer and doctors have given her little time to live. Hiro breaks down, hugging his mother and promising that he won't let her die, insisting she doesn't deserve such a fate. That night, while Inuyashiki laments losing his job and being unable to support his family, he hears Chako's desperate prayer. The boy is begging God to stop his friend Hiro from killing more people. Responding to this cry for help, Inuyashiki picks up Hanako and flies to the park where Chako is. He's determined to use his new powers to protect innocent people from Hiro. When he finds the boy, Inuyashiki explains what happened the night he and Hiro gained their abilities. He tells Chako that Hiro had been sitting on a bench right next to him during the explosion, and when they woke up, both their bodies had been transformed. Chako asks if Inuyashiki has any weaknesses that could help defeat Hiro, since they share the same powers. Inuyashiki mentions that his only known weakness so far is miso soup, which his body immediately expels after consuming. From that day forward, Chako begins training Inuyashiki to fight against Hiro, teaching him everything he's seen Hiro do. Their first lesson involves shooting at a coffee can using his finger as a weapon. After several attempts, Inuyashiki gets the hang of it. When he gets thirsty and drinks what he thinks is water, his body violently expels the liquid. Reading the label, Chako discovers it was actually a sports drink containing sodium. He concludes that Inuyashiki's body cannot digest sodium, the same ingredient found in miso soup. A few days after learning about his mother's illness, Hiro accompanies her to a doctor's appointment. To their amazement, the doctor reports that all the malignant cells in her body have mysteriously disappeared. She's been completely cured. While walking home happily, they're approached by police officers who want to question Hiro about the family murders in Chofu City. Fearing arrest, Hiro flees, with police in pursuit. During his escape, he kills 3 officers. Despite dozens of trained officers chasing him, the boy manages to get away. Hours later, the news broadcasts warnings about Hiro Shishigami, now a fugitive. The next day after school, Cheyenne heads home and runs into Hiro on her way. She invites him to stay at her place, explaining that only she and her elderly grandmother live there, so he would be safe. Meanwhile, Mari spots Chako leaving the train station with her father. Curious, she asks how they know each other. Chako lies and says they met through an online game. While watching TV at Cheyenne's apartment, Hiro is horrified to see that the press has been constantly harassing his mother since he became a fugitive. Reporters have been saying terrible things about her, blaming her for the crimes her son committed. Then comes the devastating news that his mother, unable to withstand the pressure and public shame, has taken her own life. While scouring the internet, Hiro finds an online chat where people are discussing the recent events. Reading through the conversations, he discovers a message from someone bragging about leaking his mother's address to the press. Below that message, dozens more congratulate the person for his good work. Consumed by rage, Hiro hacks into the person's computer and appears on their screen. Surprisingly, the guy is initially excited to meet the infamous Hiro, but his excitement quickly turns to terror. Hiro points his finger at the screen and shoots repeatedly as the man begs for mercy. But Hiro can't forgive him for what happened to his mother and only stops when the man is dead. He then systematically does the same to everyone in the chat who supported the leaker's actions. These killings cause complete chaos among Tokyo authorities. In the middle of the night, Cheyenne gets up and confronts Hiro about the rumors. During their conversation, Hiro admits that he really is responsible for the family's murder. Cheyenne refuses to believe he could do something so terrible, so Hiro reveals his robot arm as proof. He then takes her flying through the night sky. During their flight, Cheyenne cries for Hiro's victims, reminding him that they also had dreams and loved ones. Despite everything, she tells him she wants to stay by his side, and he promises not to leave her. Later that night, as Cheyenne gets up for a glass of water, armed police officers storm the house. She yells for Hiro to escape, but instead, he hugs her and pulls her to the ground as the officers open fire. He tries to shield her with his body while fighting back, eventually eliminating all the officers. When the gunfire stops, Hiro discovers that Cheyenne's grandmother is dead. As he checks on Cheyenne, he realizes with horror that despite his efforts to protect her, she's been shot multiple times and is also dead. With nothing left to lose, Hiro flees the scene, his desire for revenge now burning hotter than ever. The next day, Inuyashiki warns his wife and children to stay home and avoid turning on any electronic screens, as this has become Hiro's new method of attack. But as usual, his family ignores him, and everyone goes about their normal activities. Hours later, Hiro hacks into the city's giant video screens and addresses the public. He tells everyone about what happened the night before, how police raided an elderly woman's home and killed her and a high school student. He declares that the police have essentially declared war on him. So he's now declaring war on all of Japan, and it won't end until everyone is dead. Then he points at the screen and starts shooting people who are watching on the street. While training his powers with Chaco, Inuyashiki hears people screaming in terror and rushes to help. Hiro's broadcast is briefly interrupted by a local news program going live, but as the journalist is speaking on the phone, he's suddenly shot in the head and the programming cuts out. Mari and her classmates are on a field trip in one of the city buildings when they hear about what's happening. Students pull out their phones to follow the news, unwittingly making themselves the next targets. In the midst of the massacre, Inuyashiki manages to hack the screens and broadcast a video of Chaco pleading with everyone to turn off their devices and stay away from all screens. Upon hearing this, Hiro fires missiles to destroy the city's large display screens and takes the opportunity to bomb several nearby buildings, including the one where Mari is. Inuyashiki appears behind Hiro and begs him to stop killing innocent people. He reveals that he too was hit by the same explosion that transformed Hiro. But Hiro remains determined to destroy the country, so Inuyashiki shoots at him. A fierce aerial duel ensues, with Hiro launching missiles that Inuyashiki manages to evade as they chase each other through the city. In the midst of the battle, Inuyashiki hears his daughter crying for help and tries to reach her, but Hiro intercepts him, throwing the old man into a building. Inuyashiki crashes into a TV news helicopter. Hiro follows and knocks the reporter and cameraman out of the aircraft. Inuyashiki manages to save the cameraman, but before they can escape, Hiro shoots the pilot in the head. The helicopter spins out of control, about to crash into a building. Inuyashiki grabs the cameraman and flies away, but his efforts prove futile when Hiro catches up and shoots the man in the head anyway. Hiro then tries to convince Inuyashiki to join forces with him. As Hiro takes a drink of water, Inuyashiki sees his opportunity. He destroys Hiro's water bottle and drops a sports drink containing sodium on the ground. When Hiro picks it up and drinks the isotonic liquid, his systems begin to malfunction. Despite this, he continues to chase Inuyashiki into the upper atmosphere. Just as he's about to deliver the final blow, Hiro's body starts to self-destruct. He realizes too late that he's been tricked. His engines fail, and Inuyashiki launches missiles to finish him off. After defeating Hiro, Inuyashiki rushes to answer his daughter's cries for help. When he finds her, Mari is already dead. He desperately performs CPR in an attempt to revive her, and miraculously, it works. As she begins breathing again, Inuyashiki uses his powers to heal her injuries. Just as they embrace, Hiro suddenly reappears and flings Inuyashiki away. The maniac starts shooting all the survivors and saves Mari for last. When he's just steps away from killing the girl, Inuyashiki throws himself in front of his daughter, but Mari is still hit. Inuyashiki rushes to heal her before the wound proves fatal, but Hiro knocks him down. As Hiro remains determined to end Mari's life, Inuyashiki continues fighting to protect her, taking a severe beating in the process. After multiple hits, his head opens up and Mari discovers that her father is no longer human. Hiro, seeing Inuyashiki weakened, picks up an iron bar and beats him mercilessly. He then drags Mari to the edge of the broken building and threatens to drop her. Inuyashiki begs him not to, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. Seeing his daughter about to face a brutal death, something changes in Inuyashiki. His energy core accelerates, and he transforms into a machine powerful enough to destroy Hiro's body with a single blow. He then flies at full speed to catch Mari before she hits the ground. By the narrowest of margins, Inuyashiki manages to save his daughter's life. The following week, news reports announce the death of the criminal Hiro, and the case is closed. However, the police never found his body, only broken pieces. In Inuyashiki's house, his true identity remains a secret to most. Only Mari knows who her father really is. Before leaving Japan, Hiro, somehow surviving, visits Chako's house to say goodbye. Despite being afraid, Chako is relieved to see his friend is still alive. He invites Hiro to play one last game together, but when he turns around to speak to him, Hiro has already vanished. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.